to have this guy tap in and discuss stuff with me. It's just great to be able to see this dude not just come back on this level, coming back as an author, coming back with years of experience of just random shit that I feel like a lot of people need to know. So I want to welcome my guy Philly back. Philip Rodriguez Jr., but he's my brother Philly, man. Welcome, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Oh man, I appreciate it. It's good to be home, man. It's like I was telling you before we went on. It's like coming home to a makeover, man. Next last time I was here, it wasn't Nexxlegacy TV. You have a layout like this. We were doing the podcast thing before it was a podcast, man. Thanks for having me though. I appreciate it.
Well, you got to be acknowledged as one of the guys who took on this thing with me 18 years ago, bro. Like really and truly it's been that long. So, there's a lot that I feel like we've done growing up. Having our real lives kind of take on, different types of things. That journey is real, but to see you back though, and to see you back doing your thing is a beautiful thing. But you're an author now, and I want to start there, and I want to ask you because we could talk Man Cave Collectibles until 1952 to start this thing, and I want to ask you, man, how long have you thought about doing something like this? And the second part to that question is why?
I thought about years ago. I got into this, man. I needed a job, like the memorabilia thing, and I being in Cooperstown, I ended up meeting somebody there, like, oh, I got a shop opening up. So I went there for a while, and I got like the 101, of the memorabilia industry. Worked with a lot of players directly during autograph signings, and when I was doing that, I was thinking, I'm like, this would be a great story, like just starting out like that, like Cooperstown baseball. Nobody had really done it before. So something that I had been thinking about for a while that I had only put into play maybe a couple months ago. And it started out as just like a quick little 101, and then I'd go back and write, rewrite, edit, re-edit, and it developed into this man cave sport collectibles series. And the first one is Mantle 1952, you know?
Um, the motivation behind it, because I've known you for a long time, and even though we don't talk all the time every day like that, like your moves are noted, like you have a longevity of a lot of different things. So I remember there was a stretch where I saw you photos with Pete Rose, Lenny Dykstra, just moving into that sports realm where I became super proud, right? Like proud of the fact that what I'm saying, you were doing things, networking with those type of people, stuff like that. So when you were in that arena, did something sparking you was like, you know what, I got to start talking about collectibles, like some of these things that's out here right now that people might want to know.
Yeah, like I was looking for a guide. You know what I mean? Because it's not one of those things where like in other professions where if you want to be a lawyer, I'm pretty sure if you look around your town, you can go to a lawyer and he'll tell you what school to go to, what to do, what area of law you want to be in and everything. And there was nothing like that for me. Like there was shop owners, there was people who did it, but when I was sitting home when it was 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, there was no direct guide for me to go to. So it kind of started out as one, I want to write something about it, but two, if I need this guide, I know there's other people that are out there 2, 3, whatever time they're doing their thing who are like, shit, I need something to go to. So that's what it had started out as. And then it developed into this Mantle 1952 because it's one of the most iconic cards that you could think about collecting. From the moment you start collecting, whether you're a kid or you're a seasoned investor, you hear about it, and it's one of those cards that you want to get your hand on.
So tell me a little bit about that. This is your first one. It spotlights Mantle 1952. And you mentioned something that I think is important about just people who need to know what's going on the investor side. It's not just collecting cards. And I think even back in the day, Philly, like you and I have, and I don't know if you still keep or have kept a bunch of cards growing up, but I didn't. And I wish I did. You know why? Because some of that stuff's probably super, super expensive and things like that. So, the choice to choose Mantle 52, I don't think it was because it's an expensive card. It runs deeper than that, right?
Yeah, so working in Cooperstown, you would hear a lot of people come in, especially the older generation who got to watch Mickey Mantle play, you know what I mean, who sat there with their dad and everything and told their kids about it. But they would come in and you'd hear a lot of stories about, oh, I came home from college and I went up into the attic and I was looking for my old card collection when I was a kid and my mom had thrown it out, you
Yeah.
know, and you hear all this stuff about it. And it was kind of like, ah, so I know a lot of people lost the 1952 Mantle, you know what I mean? But one of the reasons that I wanted to write about it is because one of the things that makes it iconic is when Topps produced it, it wasn't designed to last. It wasn't meant for 73 years later for you and I to be talking about. You know what I mean? It was um it was basically nothing more than a little promotional thing, you know, because before that, World War One era, post World War One era, you were getting cards out of bread bags, you know, or bags of tobacco. So it wasn't something that was meant to be iconic, you know. And then Topps had really changed the game in 1952 because they came out with that design, the introduction of the 52 layout with the bold color photography, the player identification, the stats on the back of the card. They basically created the blueprint that every company uses today. It just so happened to be that in 52, Mickey Mantle was that crown jewel.
Going back doing your research on not just that card but just in general as far as how uh you know cards came to be, not just Tops but just in general, I look at it like this, and you can kind of elaborate a little bit into that as well. I think a lot of people back in the day didn't really realize, like, oh, if I keep this Mantle card, it's going to make a lot of money, or if I keep a, any other card of any other athlete back in the day, it wasn't really like a money grab, right? Back in the day, or was it?
No, I mean, it really wasn't. Like I said, going back to the Mantle in 52, that series alone, it wasn't designed to last the test of time or to become an investment asset. It was a little bit more than a kid's toy. You know, kids would put them in their bike spokes, they would flip them on the corner, they'd take thumbtacks and tack them to their wall. You know, nobody sat there. Maybe a couple people did, and, you know, they were like, oh, maybe it'll be like a stamp, you know, it'll be worth something. But not many people did, you know, which accidentally created the market through scarcity. That's why you don't see many high grade examples, you know, they're rare.
What makes the investment side of this now more lucrative in, let's just say, baseball versus football?
Baseball, man, it's like for whatever reason, even though football's been there, baseball seems to be America's pastime. And for whatever reason, baseball has always held a little bit more value. You could have your Jim Brown card, you know, but it doesn't compare to the Mickey Mantle. You know, you could have your Jordan rookie card, but again, that doesn't compare to the Mickey Mantle in that standard, you know. And one thing that made them really reputable when it comes to money was the introduction of grading companies like PSA, Beckett, SGC, you know. They formed the market to where people now know what they're spending their money on. Where before everything was just word of mouth, you know, it was you and I having a discussion. I think this might be worth 100. You think it might be worth two,
Mhm.
and maybe we can find a buyer somewhere in the middle.
During this process, what's been the best advice that you got from somebody who, I don't want to say sparked a few things for you to add to your book, but just kind of stuck with you forever, in terms of, doesn't have to be an athlete, or it could be, or it could just be some random person you were really getting some information on to be able to, get this book done.
The best piece of advice that I got obviously came from people who had been collecting before me, but it was always get it authenticated, get it graded. You know, that kind of secures everything for you from reputation to value. Excuse me. Get it graded, you know, get it authenticated, because then it eliminates that argument of it could be worth this, it could be worth that. It's boom, you know, it's real, you know.
Hmm.
And a lot of bigger names like Mantle, if you get something of his authenticated, you're not just getting like a basic sticker and a cert. It's going to come with a letter, you know, of authenticity, you know, to go with everything and kind of solidify everything.
So as you was basically you put the final finishing touches onto this book, and before you got it out to the stratosphere to get this done, um, and you had to do a lot of research though.
Hmm.
Like, what was some of the highlights that you could say like throughout your entire book writing journey that was like, you know what? I'm taking a little bit of investment game along with even some personal growth in terms of like the consistency you got to do cuz we now have grown, Philly. You a book writer, I am one as well. There's a
Hmm.
little bit of dedication that comes to like not just starting it but figuring out what the middle looks like as well as the final the ending chapter, I should say. Tell folks a little bit about just your process.
With something like this, when you do your research, you have to separate a lot of fact from opinion, because you have a lot of collectors out there with their own opinion, but at the end of the day, you have to go with fact. One of the things that I always tell people, and again, I researched it too, because there's proven examples of it. If you go into this industry with emotion, it'll kill you. One thing that, the memorabilia industry does reward though is patience, and patience. Like prime example, Mantle 52 again. I keep going back to it. um, the one where we were talking about before, where people weren't going into this going, oh, this is going to be a long-term thing, I'm going to make money off of it. But the few people that were, SGC, they're another grading company. There was a Mickey Mantle rookie card, 52 tops, that graded at a 9.5, where in August of 2022 sold for $12.6 million. So when you're doing your research, that's something that you want to put in there, but you also want to let people know that that's a rare example. With the book, I'm not telling you that if you invest in this rookie card, you're going to get that kind of return. I'm just really telling you through my research and personal experience what to look out for.
Why do you think there isn't many, if any, people taking or embarking on this situation like you have? Because I think you and I talked a little bit as you were going through your process of discussing it before it came to reality. But I don't think I don't want to say celebrated because I think that's a stretch. I think more educated. How come people don't or haven't done what you are currently doing right now?
Again, through my research when I was writing the book, there's not a lot of outlets out there that you can go to. There's forums and there's discussions online that you can go to, but a solid, to get solid information that is based off of fact, like I want to gain my trust through knowledge, and there wasn't a lot of that. Like I had said when I started, I was looking for stuff like this. It wasn't out there, so I figured, why not me be the one to put it out there? And there are like-minded people. Like Hall of Fame weekend in Cooperstown is huge, so you meet a lot of people, you exchange a lot of ideas, you have conversations about things. And I saw that there was a lot of like-minded people, but nobody wanted to take it to the level that I took it to be able to drop not just a guide, but a whole book on it to give you the information that you need.
I find that interesting because it was part of my childhood, Philly, to literally like collect stuff, comic books, cards, whatever. I never had what you have explained. It's just like guidance. I never really had anybody to like guide me through whatever. Um, do you think these younger kids are gonna, kind of appreciate and understand? Like some of these people they're watching right now, they're gonna be as old as somebody who watched Mantle back in the day and realize like preservation of cards and other memorabilia is super important nowadays versus just throwing it in your garage or your attic and just letting it age out, right?
Yeah, no, most definitely. And that's one of the reasons that I wrote the book, was like, guidance. It's for everybody. So it could be for the 7-year-old kid who's going to be coming up to Cooperstown to play at the All-Star Village or the Dreams Park, and they open up their first pack of cards with their dad. You know what I mean? Dad and son, daughter, however you want to do it. You're going to want that reference guide, so it's something that a son could go to, a father could go to, something that everybody could do together. You know what I mean? Because I remember my dad buying me cards when I was a kid and collecting them, knowing that there's going to be a little bit of value, but nothing like there is today.
Hmm.
And we had Beckett to go to, because Beckett wasn't always just um, authentication and grading. They had the book that you could go to look up the value of the cards and everything, but there was nothing in depth. And that's the angle that I wanted to take with it. I wanted to go in depth. You know what I mean?
I remember those days, just kind of looking through the book just to see what it was. Like, I think the mentality I had at the time, because I don't know about you, you mentioned something that I felt is genuine. Your pops was on that hype with you, like you were a part of it. I know I had my younger brother. We were looking through it. I had some of the block kids. They were like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, did you get this new one? Like, you opened it when you had the bubble gum and the cards and
Yeah.
all that stuff that tied in, and we used to trade them off, right? Like we used to trade, like we were literally like investing. Oh, I got a duplicate of this one, but I'll take this one for this one, or whatever the case may be. Do you think, through your research, do you think kids have that mentality now, or is that lost in our childhood, like you and I?
Kids have that mentality now, but they also have that mentality of where they look at it as they go, "Oh, I just pulled a 1 in 10 Otani. Like, oh, if I hold on to this, I can get a little bit of money." You know what I mean? They have the collector's mentality, but there's also that profit mentality behind it. You know?
Mm. Something that they like, or at least for you and I, like I, I didn't look at it as, I just looked at it as a sport, just like
I was
anything
having
else.
fun,
Yeah, I
man.
didn't
Like
look
when I
at
pulled the Jordan, like that's what I wanted. I wanted to pull Jordan, Pippen, Rodman. I wanted Jeter. I wasn't too concerned with rookie card, this or that. And like that's
it.
one of the things with Kobe. Like I was looking through the other day, and there was this big Kobe lot up for auction, and I'm like, damn, I had that rookie card. I had that one. Had that one. And just seeing like what a grade can do to it, like having a PSA 8, 9, 10 on it can take it from $10 to $10,000, if you have the right card. And it's crazy because if I was looking at it like that, I would be sitting on stacks of all the books I had when I was a kid.
Yeah, for real. What's been some of the challenges that you faced during this journey of not just writing a book, getting your information? What's been some of the stuff that you've kind of had to overcome in order for you to complete this part of the book?
Learning the hard way, that firsthand experience, where you buy something that's fake or you spend too much on it, or it's authenticated, but it's authenticated by like what I like to call like a mom and pop authentication company. Like, anybody can print up a sticker now. Anybody can get a tag and sign something and go, "Oh, that's authentic." But that's one of the things I had to go through. I bought fakes. I've overspent. I've undersold. Just
Oh,
that firsthand experience. And then I write it down because again, I didn't have a guide to go to. So that's what I'm trying to do for the potential investor, collector, young, old. I just want to give you that experience.
I look at what you have done, and this is, publicly, this is your first book, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel now that it's available for pre-order? How do you feel now that it's on the verge of being out, and it's coming out on when? Tell the people.
Got one dropping February 9th. The ebook, you can get that on Amazon Kindle. It'll be available on all the ebook platforms. And then we got the paperback coming out on the 16th. And I feel good about it, because like I said, I'm putting that information out there. It's a guide. It's not something that I heard this person say and let me write about it. Everything is firsthand, and I'll throw it out there right now. No, I do not have a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle, but I have seen people but I've seen people purchase them. I've seen them come to me to get appraised and evaluation. And I tell everybody the same thing, at the end of the day, my opinion is only my opinion. Send it out to PSA, Beckett, or SGC. Like they're really good. They do a lot of pre-World War One, post-World War II stuff. So they have that really good vintage reputation. So I direct them that way. But I give them the knowledge, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm sending you blindly, because a lot of people go, okay, I have to submit to PSA, but they have no idea what to do. You know what I mean?
Straight
And
up.
that's another thing that this series of books it covers. It'll cover other cards, authentication processes, real, fake, uh, raw versus graded, a lot.
So with this being a first time as a full-on author, um, will you be doing this in series form? This is not the last time that you'll be putting a book out.
Yeah, no, it's not the last time I'll be putting a book out, and it's not the last time you'll see the Man Cave Sport Collectibles. Man Cave Sport Collectibles a couple years ago, I got into the autograph and memorabilia game with graded cards, autographs, all that stuff. Unfortunately, after COVID, situations occurred that had fell apart, but it was something that I always believed in. It was a brand I created myself, and I didn't want it to fade out. So I took it from that, and I decided to do the Man Cave Sports Collectibles series. It's either going to be 3 to 5, but even after that series is done, there'll still be other books to come.
I commend you for that. I also feel like the fact that you see this is my thing, and especially when it comes to you because I've known you for so long. Like I said, we don't have to talk all day to know you. I know you. I don't have to
Yeah.
see you all day to know you. I remember the first time you were telling me about your man cave collectibles imprint and the things that you wanted to do with it. You sound just like the way I sound and we sound when we were trying to put this blog talk next legacy vintage music thing together way back when. So I have to acknowledge you and appreciate the fact that man cave is your child. You're going to
Yeah.
go through ups and downs and through the journey of it all. So a little bit of your origin story on just that alone. Were you trying to do man cave and put this imprint out there because you felt the need to and that you wanted to leave that as a legacy as well? That is a question.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it does touch down into legacy, but also I wanted something of my own. You know what I mean? I had worked for other people. I had seen other people like you start a creative or a successful brand that you had created. I've always enjoyed the creative process, and I didn't want to do what somebody else was doing. So, like, Man Cave Sport Collectibles was kind of like my way of taking everything that I had been around, everything that I had seen everybody do, but being able to do it my way. You know what I mean? And leave behind what I wanted to leave behind, take the path that I wanted to take. And it started as cards and memorabilia, online store, this, that, and now it's Man Cave Sport Collectibles, Mantle 1952 on Next Legacy Radio.
So look, I'm gonna come off the top rope with some real shit because I feel like that's just how you and I roll for 18 years. So, you've always given me that, what is it? We kind of got together like we both love Tupac. And you have always been that East Coast born but West Coast raised kind of dude just because your whole flow and your flavor as far as what you do is different. How you handle things is different. How you are when you're excited makes me excited because I can hear it in your voice and I can hear like, the passion that you have for this stuff. So I'm gonna tell you and the listeners when Philly told me about this book, it was something in his voice that made me be like, oh, I need to pay attention. Cause when people tell me ideas, I hear it, but I don't hear it. I don't feel it like that though. You get what I mean? Like I don't feel
Yeah.
it. But when you hit me up and you were talking about this and you were I guess I want to say in a lot of ways a man who was so passionate about wanting to get this out, it made me take notice. I appreciate that, but also I want to ask you out there for everybody else, bruh, let me keep it a buck. I know somebody right now who's had literally manuscripts written for like 10, 15 years and just don't want to put it out. Like, why is it that when you do what you do, there's a conviction about what you want to put out and you're going to do whatever you can, find out from everybody else how to do this? And then there's other people like that.
I don't know. I guess it's because if it's something that I'm passionate about, especially if it involves me putting a pen in my hand and penning everything out, I'm passionate about it. You know what I mean? I can't do it if I don't mean it. And if I don't mean it, you're going to see it because it's going to be halfway. But this is something that I've always been passionate about, man. It started out, I don't know, probably before then. Like the passion came from just growing up as a New York Jets fan. You know what I mean? So a lot of hope, a lot of ambition, but Jets lift you up just high enough. So when they drop you, it hurts. But this is something where I wanted to lift it up high, you know what I mean, and make my own. And I did, and I'm passionate about it. It's what I want to leave behind for my daughter. And when people see me, I want them to be like, "Yo, that's the man cave dude." That's the guy that had the autographs. Now he's an author. You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna flip it to the investment side of all of this because to me, I think if people take Man Cave Collectibles, the Mantle 1952, and you can pre-order it now, it's on the screen. Um, as an investor, as a possible investor in this, because people go crazy like for shoes, right? Like there's shoe enthusiasts everywhere. They go bananas over the first. They want to be the first one to get those new whatever.
Yeah.
Cards is like that too, but it's on the low. Like a lot of people don't really like publicly put it out there because you can't wear it. You can't
Yeah.
put it on
No,
you and go
that's
rock out.
true.
You know what I mean? So it's a little different. So if someone's trying to literally figure out the investment thing about just collecting, not just cards, but just in general, should they come see you? Not just get the book, but also find out more because I'm sure you probably will have more to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. Get the book, come see me. I honestly recommend if you want to get a firsthand experience in it, just go to Cooperstown on Hall of Fame weekend. That last weekend in July, walk up and down, talk to the shop owners, talk to the people who are doing the autograph sessions if you get time because it's real busy. But talk to them, get that firsthand experience, read the book, talk to other people who are outside of Cooperstown. They have people who are heavy in Vegas, LA, all over the country. It's $100 billion a year industry. You can find people to talk to, and you'll talk to them, and then read my book, and you'll see the people who do it right, the right way. That there's a structure and there's a blueprint. You know, and that's what my book explains. It's not saying that you're going to get rich. It's saying that if you are going to invest in this card, this is the potential, and here's the blueprint to do it with a little bit of freedom to do it your own way.
Hey, that's perfect. And I think someone like myself who, I like to invest in stuff or pour into it. I never really understood the shoe game because, I mean, people don't even wear it, Philly. They just keep it. And then
Yeah,
they
no,
do
see, that
whatever it
was
is
my
they do
problem is I could get a pair of Jordans, but I'm wearing them. Like, you know,
but
I'm gonna
but
fuck
I
them up and I'm
gotta
gonna get another pair.
Right, right. And I just find that as just kind of, bizarre for the but no hate on the people that, hold them shoes hostage and do whatever they need to do. But, I think even with you, like the evolution of who you are, like I always tell people, because I always feel like myself, you and I met during a very awkward time in my life. I was going through, child, I was going, it was like after the
Mhm.
divorce and I was doing a whole bunch of other things, but I feel like, especially for you, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, uh, this is a new, different kind of you right now, right?
Yeah, man. If somebody would have told me 10 years ago, if somebody would have told me 2 years ago, like, yo, you're gonna take everything that you've done with this and you're gonna write a book about it. Not just a book, but you're gonna have enough knowledge and information to do 3 to 5 books in this series and then keep it going afterwards. I'd be doubtful, man. I saw myself doing music and I always enjoyed writing, but up until like last year, I thought it was done. You know what I mean? Gonna be 40, just live life out, take care of the kids. And now here we are, Man Cave Sport Collectibles, Mantle 1952.
Now, I just want to acknowledge that because I just feel like people that that may know a tad bit of your backstory, especially because I know you like I do, but just to kind of see your growth and evolution is inspiring. Like I feel like I'm not in no competition like you like that, but I just feel like we talked about collabing on a book as well, but I just feel like I gotta step my game up, bro. Like if Philly got this book out and he's doing whatever, like I gotta do it. So tell people about your man cave publishing. I know everything is pretty much in the works, but you pretty much just kind of got that locked down. So as a business guy, and again, it's man cave collectibles. You can see it right now, pre-order it. Um, the grind of a publisher now, or having a publishing company deal. How does that feel to you as well? Man cave publishing.
Man Cave Publishing again, like, Man Cave Sport Collectibles to Man Cave Publishing. Again, it was something that I wanted to do myself. I had received an NDA, I had phone calls, everything else. And I just looked at it as, why do I need somebody else to do it? You know what I mean? I didn't have anybody else digging through boxes of cards. I didn't have anybody else researching them. I didn't have anybody chasing down baseball players getting autographs. I did it all myself. So I figured, why not do this myself? It was something that I didn't know. So it took a lot of research, not only to be able to write the book, but to figure out how to format everything the right way, how to get it onto the right platforms, having people like you to be able to reach out to. That was real helpful. But at the end of the day, Man Cave Publishing was just for me to do it my way. I didn't need somebody, hey, maybe you should write about this. Hey, maybe you should write about that. It was like, I want to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and do it.
You know how Netflix took out Blockbuster. There's a lot of publishing companies who really wish, there wasn't any independent people like yourself and others to be able to get it. Because back then, as you were on your book hype, like you literally was at the beck and call of a publisher or a publishing company. Now
Yeah,
you
so
create your own and do your stuff, right? So it's super cool. So now that you've done this and this is a part of your life, you mentioned writing, you mentioned, doing music and stuff like that. And clearly you and I met through, podcasts
music.
and stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
what else that you have on the horizon that you would be looking forward to?
I haven't even thought that far yet,
I
because
feel
like,
you.
like I told you, I didn't even plan on this. You know what I mean? It just happened, and then the Man Cave Publishing happened. I'm open to anything. I mean, I guess eventually with Man Cave Publishing, it would be nice to have future writers and authors come to me and be able to put together a plan for them and create a path for success that I had created for myself to be able to benefit other people like-minded with a dream like I had who want to leave a legacy.
Bam. With that being said, future artists and writers, someone
Hit
who's
me
trying
up.
to tap in and come to Philly and Man Cave Publishing Philly, what would you say to some of these people? Is it more of taking a leap of faith? Because I feel like you did. I feel like you was at a stretch in your path that in your journey that you was like, you know what, fuck it. Let me take ownership of what I need to do and get it out there. So what would you say to aspiring people who want to tap in and eventually come see you?
I guess I could be like the Suge Knight at the 95 Source Awards and say you there's a lot of other people who want to do what you want to do, but if you want to get that idea out the right way, come over to Man Cave Publishing. And you got to be kind of old to get that, but I really hope a lot of people do go and YouTube Suge Knight 95. Think of Man Cave Publishing when you do. You know,
I
get
got
that
you, bro.
NDA.
I got
Don't sign it. Just come over to me.
you. That's real. That's real.
Yeah,
I got you, man. I got you. No, I'm literally, man. I'm so proud of you, man. And like I said,
I
I don't,
appreciate it.
I don't keep in touch with a lot of blog talk. I guess I could say blog talk alumni, so to speak. I mean, you are
Mm,
one of very few that I root for and cheer for, and not a hate on nothing else, just because I think we've been through a lot together, personally and professionally, as far as how we got together and stayed connected for 18 years. That it's gonna be great to be able to see not just this being released. Oh, by the way, I pre-ordered that thing too, just so you know. So
appreciate you.
um, but I
Appreciate
also
you.
want an autograph, and I'm not saying I want it for free, but I'm just saying in general, like what I'm saying, you
Yeah,
gotta
no,
hook
I'll be
your.
real. I'll be real. Amazon fucked up a batch of books, so they got pushed back a little bit. No, but when they get in, I'm gonna have a bunch of authors copies. So I get one out to you. Anybody else who wants one, hit me up on social media. Any platform is gonna be Man Cave Publishing, but just hit me up and we'll work on getting you a copy of the book.
So I'm gonna ask you about podcasting because I can't leave without talking about that a little bit. Like I said to start, you and I took upon this journey 18 years ago to be where it is now. Now that you see it in its full glory, like back in the day, YouTube was still young, fairly, so it wasn't like this.
Yeah,
Instagram wasn't. I mean, hell, you and I were on MySpace networking and trying to get people to come in and do interviews and stuff like that.
and
You
it
know,
worked.
and it worked. And it
And
worked
it
exactly.
worked.
Exactly. So how do you feel about its evolution? Not just, your home, which is Nexxlegacy, but just in general, from what you've seen back then to what you see now. Like, what are your thoughts?
It's unbelievable. You know, like if we would have done a vintage music radio, blog talk, podcast, internet radio, whatever you wanted to call it back in the day, and we were talking about like where do you see yourself in 20 years, I probably would have been like hopefully a gold or a platinum record and like promotion deal, record company, you know. But then like you said, like life happens. Like we were kids doing that, and now we have kids, and life shapes and changes events, and now I'm an author, and that would have never been something that I would have put out there, you know. So it's unpredictable, you know. You can't predict it, but everything happens for a reason, you know. Life will put you
Well,
where you need to be.
that's a whole testament to you just sticking with whatever, like throughout the journey of, everything. It all doesn't have to be like, what, it's been a wonderful journey, everything has been perfect. Hell no, there's been all kinds of obstacles that has come my way, your way, everybody else's way. But to still be here and still fight the fight and come up with different things is a great look. So, are you prepared for what's going to happen? When I say that, I'm talking about with this book, Philly. I'm talking about the fact that there's going to be libraries, because there still is libraries in multiple locations. People still go in there to read, man. You can still pick up a damn book and read. Are you
Mm-hmm.
ready for the barrage that's coming with people asking you, hey, can you bring a few books to the library and tell folks about this? The only reason why I asked this, sir, is because what you bring and how it's coming out, like roughly around spring training and stuff like that for the baseball folks out there, people are going to be intrigued by this. So are you ready for this?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely ready for it. You know what I mean? It's something that I plan on doing. You know, I got a few little things that I want to do in the future to promote it that are in person, but they're still working out, but they'll get put together. And yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready, you know.
There it is. There it is. Listen, man, before we wrap, um, I gotta tell you that, seeing this in this, full glory is just, like I said, it got me super juiced. But, I know a lot of people out there who is getting to know you for the very first time, would like to know a few other things about you when it comes to, let's just say, music. So I'm gonna ask you, like I've asked a couple of people. So, we met through music. So I'm gonna ask you, what was your best decade in terms of music? And it doesn't just have to be hip hop, it's every
Ooh,
genre of music. What is the best decade according to Philly?
the best decade. See, I would have to split mine up. I know a lot of people are like the 80s, they're like the 90s. I would have to go like for hip hop, I would have to go 85, 85, 86 to 95, 96 because you got to incorporate that whole NWA movement. Because, like you said, it was coming out of the Grandmaster Flash, Furious Five, New York thing. It was this West Coast thing. People, oh my God, they're gangsters. What is this? You know? And then that led into the whole Tupac, Death Row, Bad Boy, Biggie. So, like that 85, 86 to 95, 96 is that classic era of hip hop. And even though I don't get down with this new music. I mean, I love it. But I guess what I love about it is even though I don't listen to it, I love the evolution of hip hop because people were like, hip hop's not going to last. It's a passing fad. And you watched it go from Slick Rick to NWA to Dre, Snoop, Pac, Big. And now you got little young Dro, whoever, rapping, doing whatever. You know what I mean? So I love it that it's still here.
Well, the evolution of it is a little weird. I feel like it's not, it's still around, because if we can go back and look at or listen to or whatever in terms of music and what we've done and what other people have done, it's a win. Like, hip hop will never die. It's just different now, and it's just,
Yeah.
it's not my different, but I get you. So one more thing on books though, like, what has been a great book for you to, I want to say, either learn from, be inspired by, whatever. Like, what's a good book out there that you could just give in terms of game for people to go check out? And don't say War and Peace, bro, because
Mm-mm.
no.
Nah, nah. So honestly, one of the books that really inspired me all the way back to when I was a teenager, and it came out it made me want to write a book, even though it wasn't written in the format that I wrote this. But it was The Rose That Grew from Concrete by Tupac. It was a book.
Damn, bruh. I
It
haven't
was a
heard that. I still got that book, Philly, but I haven't went back and read that in a minute. But
so
tell the people why.
what was so dope about it to me was it was a book, but it was a book of poems. But it was a book of poems based off of life experience. So like when you would start and you would read one, oh, let's see. Trying to think of the joint about Lady Liberty. I think it is called Lady Liberty in The Rose That Grew from Concrete, but you can just see Pac's development through poetry, which was still telling his story, because at the end of the book, there's a poem called In the Event of My Demise, which he had wrote before he passed, but describes his passing and everything that comes with it. And ever since I read that, I always wanted to put out a book or write something that was in an unconventional way to tell a story, a story, a fable, underlying moral, something to get out there like that. And that's one that really inspired me. So whether you're into poetry or not, Tupac, The Rose That Grew from Concrete, read it. It'll inspire you to do something.
I think you're breaking up a little bit, Philly. So if you could do me a
Oh,
quick one, just hang up real quick and then just tap right back in, and I'll go ahead and add you, and then we'll be good. Once he comes back in, we'll wrap up with him as well. Um, Again, he's a guy I've known for a long time, so to see him, at his apex right now is a good look. I got you back. You good?
we good?
Yeah, we good. We good.
Yeah, man. I'm in upstate New York. The whole East Coast is getting hit with this crazy storm right now. We got like 3 feet of snow. It's like negative whatever, but we're back.
Yeah, and you know what? We went through the whole thing, and I didn't even mention nothing to you or y'all. Good, right? Y'all, y'all got, y'all warm, y'all straight, everything
Oh,
good.
power, heat, food, alcohol, smoke. We're good. You know what I mean? All the essentials. Ready to be locked down for a couple days.
I got you. I got you. Uh, yeah, I think that's what it is too. You can hear me now. Still, you good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. Give your shout outs, Philly man. I know you want to shout out the world, so give your shout outs to your peoples.
Oh shit. Mom, dad, love you. Thank you. Josh, New York Butcher Brothers, Ravio, thank you. Kerry, Ram, Wyatt, Carmen, Hayden. Anybody who believed in that I could do this and anybody who didn't, fuck you.
Listen, man. Hey, I'm going to look forward to reading this, and anybody that's a real investor who just might be curious and who want to tap in to learn and understand what this game looks like as opposed to something else that they've never experienced. This would be great, especially if you're a sports guy. If you're a sports enthusiast, this is probably like the best place for you to start trying to figure out how you could turn something into something more just by collecting at the end of the day. So, Philly, pre-orders right there. Hold on. Right there. You can go ahead and scan that QR code. Yep, he's pointing right down at it right there, people. So once again, like I said, I've been singing your praises now, and I will always do that to the day I die. You are a great guy. You are tremendous in pieces of your journey that you're starting to get to and evolve and do more with what it is that you're trying to become. So I'm looking forward to seeing more from Man Cave Publishing under Phillip Rodriguez Jr., which sounds famous, like it sounds like a famous guy. So I just want to see more. So I appreciate you, man, and appreciate just all that you have been. And I'll let you respond when I say this, bro. Like you and me have, it was just a random phone call that you were on, and then we have stayed connected again. I'll say it, people, for 18 goddamn years. And that's hard to do when somebody lives somewhere else and I live over here. So listen, I appreciate you, bro. And I want to keep seeing you grow, man. It's great seeing enthusiasm coming from you and all that shit, bro. So I appreciate that.
Oh man, I appreciate you calling me home. You know what I mean? Like I said, I love the renovation that was done. But at the end of the day, man, I just appreciate the outlet. You know what I mean? A lot of people, 18 years come and go, but you always been there, whether it's from a distance, up close, and from music to man cave publishing. So I'm just looking forward to everything else, man. And I'm definitely looking forward to coming back.
Yeah, and personally, man, I got some action with some things in Brooklyn that I need to handle. So hopefully 2026 will be the year that, it'll be up close and personal, bro. So,
Let's do it. Let's
it'll
do it. Brooklyn
go.
2026. Make it happen.
Philly, I appreciate you, bro. I
Yo, I
appreciate you.
appreciate the outlet. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, now, hey, one of the greatest guys you'll ever know. I need y'all to go and support Man Cave Collectibles, Mantle 1952. You can pre-order it right now. I appreciate the scans and the people tapping in and checking in as well. Philly's a good dude. And I appreciate all the people out here who has taken the time to listen and will listen and everything else that comes with it. Make sure you go ahead and tune in, subscribe, hit the notifications, tap in. Charles Iron Brandon signing out. See you when I